Welcome to the lesson on managing student loan debt. My name is Catherine Solheim, and I will be discussing this important aspect of financial management with you in this presentation. So let's get started. It's expensive to get an education, and the cost keeps increasing. As graduates have a difficult time finding jobs, they find lower paying jobs or are losing jobs due to an unstable economy, they may be challenged to repay their student loans. In fact, there are currently an increasing number of graduates who are past due on their loans or have even stopped paying completely, which means they have defaulted on their loans. Moreover, unlike other types of consumer debt, student loan debt does not easily get discharged, even in bankruptcy. This makes student loan debt a significant financial challenge for many recent graduates. Federal student loans tend to be a good option for students because they tend to have lower interest rates compared to private loans. It's also easier to get federal student loans compared to private loans. However, many students fail to understand the difference between unsubsidized and subsidized federal loans. A subsidized federal loan does not accrue interest while the student is in school. That interest is paid for them by the federal government. Unsubsidized loans does accrue interest and starts immediately after borrowing. As a result, those who take out unsubsidized loans can be very surprised to see that the amount they need to repay after graduation is much higher than what they borrowed. If the interest is not paid, it is capitalized, meaning it is added to the principal amount. As you can guess, subsidized loans are the best option for students. Unfortunately, many students don't qualify for these loans because their family's financial situation renders them ineligible. However, many of these students still need to borrow money to go to college, and unsubsidized loans are still a good option. If at all possible, students or their parents perhaps should pay the interest during the time in school to keep the balances to a more manageable level. It is also important to note that there are no subsidized loans for graduate education. The grace period is the time between graduation and when loan repayment must begin. Typically, this is a 6-month period. Loans may also qualify for deferment, which is the postponement of loan repayment. For example, borrowers may defer their loan payments if they are pursuing more education, for example, enrolled in graduate school, are looking for a full-time job, facing an economic hardship, or perhaps have joined the Peace Corps. It is important to check out whether or not one's current situation or job qualifies for loan deferment. To learn more about reasons for deferment, visit the site that's listed on your slide. One important thing to point out is that student loan debt is amortized. This means that payments will be based on the total amount borrowed plus interest divided into equal increments. When you first start paying on the loan, the majority of the amount paid is applied toward interest. Over time, as you continue repaying, proportionally more money is applied to the principal. Remember, we talked earlier about subsidized and unsubsidized loans. It's important to note that for unsubsidized loans that accrue interest while the student is still in school, the accrued interest is added to the principal and then that total amount is amortized. So essentially, borrower is paying interest on interest. I think we can agree that although it's very important, it's also expensive to get an education. So the question is, what is the right amount of student loan? Debt commits future income and limits flexibility in spending. So a good rule of thumb to consider is that a person shouldn't have more student loan debt than what they anticipate will be their first year of income after graduation. Students should think about a job they're likely to get upon graduation and find out the average salary for that job. This becomes their rough goal for the total amount they should borrow to complete their degree. So let's look at an example. If a person wants to be a social worker, the average salary in Minnesota is $47,000. So according to the rule of thumb, they should strive to not have more than $47,000 in student loan debt when they graduate from college. Remember, this may be a very generous estimate. Many postgraduate social workers will not earn the average salary. The federal government loan program offers several options for repaying student loans, as you see listed on this slide. The standard repayment plans allow you to pay the least total interest compared to the graduated and extended student loan plans. Most of this is related to time and the amount of your monthly payment. The graduated and extended plans have lower monthly payment options, which help recent graduates balance their financial needs. But the downside is that the total interest paid over the life of the loan repayment is greater than in the standard plan. Let's look at a table that compares these three types of repayment plans. This is what it would look like if you were repaying a $35,000 student loan using the standard, extended, or graduated repayment plans. As you can see, the standard plan has the highest monthly payment at about $402 per month, compared to $267 for the extended plan and $201 for the graduated plan. But then look at the amount of interest paid. You will be paying the least amount of interest, just over $13,000 for the standard plan, compared to over twice that much for the extended plan, and about twice as much for the graduated plan. Because the graduated plan has lower payments that gradually increase over 10 years, the total interest is less than the extended plan. Because of the 25-year time payment for the extended plan, the total interest paid is the highest in this plan. The income-based plan is a more recent option for graduates paying back their student loans. Let's watch this video to learn more about the income-based repayment plan.
Of all the new things you picked up in college, there's one thing you may never be able to put down: your student debt. Wherever you go, it's right there with you, taking a bite out of your paycheck, cramping your style, and you just can't escape it, no matter how hard you try. But starting on July 1st, 2009, the government is stepping in to help keep your debt in check.
La la la, don't listen to this. It sounds like a scam.
Not really. It's a new federal program that's going to help make student loan payments more affordable for millions of people, especially those who are struggling now. It's called Income-Based Repayment, or IBR, and it caps your monthly payments based on your income.
Okay with me if you pay less each month. That just means we'll be together longer.
Actually, the best part about IBR is that any remaining debt, including interest, will be forgiven after 25 years of payments. Or after as few as 10 years if you work in a nonprofit, government, or other public service job.
Oh no!
That's right. And IBR is available to anyone with a federal student loan, past, present, or future. If you owe more than you earn in a year, you probably qualify for IBR.
Aha! Qualify, huh? I knew there was a catch. You probably don't qualify.
With a heavy debt burden like that,
Hey!
you probably do. IBR caps your payments based on what you earn and the number of people in your family. It's designed to keep those payments at a manageable level. For some, that level will be 0. For instance, a single person who makes $30,000 and owes $30,000 could cut their monthly payment in half. A family of 4 earning $80,000 and owing $60,000 could cut their payment by $300 a month. And a family of 3 earning $26,000, regardless of how much they owe, will pay nothing at all.
Oh boy, this is complicated. Let's forget about it.
Actually, there's a simple calculator at ibrinfo.org that you can use to see if you're eligible for IBR and estimate your monthly payment.
How could you do this to me? I thought we'd be together forever.
Find out how IBR can lighten your load at ibrinfo.org.
This plan is ideal for lower income graduates because it allows them to responsibly pay back their student loans at reasonable rates and affordable payments. I recommend that you explore the federal government's student aid website to learn more about student loans and repayment plans. When people are struggling to make ends meet, student loan payments tend to be the first thing people stop paying. This can have long-term consequences. Late payments on student loans will be reported to credit reporting agencies and will negatively affect credit scores, which will hurt a consumer's financial situation in the long run. Stopping payments altogether is considered default, which results in the loan going into collections. As we've discussed earlier, this can add additional stress to lives that may already be experiencing hardships. If income situations change and it is not possible to make loan payments, it is important to communicate with the lending agency. For the most part, lenders are willing to work with you because they want to recuperate their money. Here are a couple of strategies to consider. If the loan is currently being repaid under the standard repayment plan, now this is for federal loans and it's no longer affordable, perhaps negotiating a change to the graduated or extended loan repayment plan is possible. In the short term, payment amounts are decreased, but in the long term, more interest is paid. If loan holders find that their income has been greatly reduced, they may also now qualify for the income-based plan. Another strategy to consider is loan consolidation. Through this process, 2 or more loans are combined into one, so that there is only a single payment and perhaps a lower interest depending on your credit score. Disadvantages of debt consolidation include paying more interest long-term because the length of your loan is increased. You will lose any benefits from the original lender, such as interest rate discounts, principal rebates, or some loan cancellation benefits because loan consolidation is not reversible. To find more about loan consolidation, please visit the federal website. If none of the above options make sense or are possible for you, consider a professional financial counselor. As I've mentioned earlier, it is important to work with someone who has been trained and certified by the National Association of Certified Credit Counselors. This slide includes several web-based resources you may find helpful when dealing with student loan debt. I encourage you to consider these websites and explore them to see what information they provide. Student loan debt is increasingly challenging as the cost of college increases for individuals and families, especially during the earlier stages of life. It is important for college students to think carefully before taking on large amounts of debt through student loans. Just because it's available doesn't mean that one has to accept the offer. The University of Minnesota has a website titled Live Like a Student Now So You Don't Have to Later. Living frugally during the college years and not taking out large amounts of loans means that after graduation, money earned can go toward building assets rather than repaying debt. Thank you for your attention to this important topic in financial management.